Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Jay here, aka Mojo Sports. We're here live on the Collector Podcast. What's going on, guys? My first guest we have with us is NorCal_Grass. My friend Austin. What's good, man?
What's up, Jay? I'm so excited for this, man.
Bro, me too, man. I'm so happy to have you on. I picked Austin as my first guest because we've known each other for a minute.
Yes, yeah. I think like almost 10 years now, man. I mean, back in the good old days of YouTube when that was our only social media platform we really had for this hobby, and it was a great time, and we've both grown up from then, and we've always stayed in contact and always just hung out together, always talked cards and talked the hobby, and I'm just like so excited and psyched for this, and I'm really honored to be the first one on, Jay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. Thanks for your time today, man. Hey, we're going to Dallas.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, it's like what, 4 months or 4 weeks? Not 4 months.
4 weeks.
4 weeks to the day right now. So, oh yeah, man, it's gonna be a movie. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, dude, that's gonna be fun. So man, we want to get to know you. That's what we're trying to do on this podcast. We could talk about our collections, all the PSA 10s, all the Kobe's we have, but we want to know some more stuff about NorCal_Grass. So my first question for you is, how did you get into collecting, and like what year was it, and like what was your first pack you ever opened?
So I got into collecting. I think it was like late 2011. Like it would have been the beginning of my freshman year in high school, and I saw a guy on YouTube. I don't know if I was just looking at, I don't know how I found him, but it was Fight on 5-2. If a lot of people that are going to watch this, they are on YouTube for a long time and they'll remember him. But I watched a lot of his content, and it just drove me into the craze for no reason really, other than just it looked awesome. I wanted to collect because I was such a big sports fan as it was. My first ever box I actually ripped was a 2009 Panini Absolute Memorabilia Blaster. It wasn't Contenders. I thought it was Contenders, but it's Absolute Memorabilia now that I remembered, and I actually pulled a Michael Crabtree rookie jersey. I doubt it was game used back then, probably rookie premiere, but that's kind of what got me into it. Of all players,
So you
Crabtree would
didn't
have
so
been
you didn't check out illicit JMO's Kid 44?
Oh yeah, always, man. I actually was probably turned on to you from Fight on 5-2, just like so many different connections. People would do shout outs. It was way different back then. It was so less accessible, like for people. You'd have to get, a good enough camera to get on. And then you'd go through your whole content of showing your stuff. And the only way that you really shouted out people was either in the video or through your description box. And you can only do like a certain amount of videos. And it's just, it's awesome now with Instagram. You can connect with so many more people that maybe you didn't know or didn't even know existed with different collections. So it's awesome, man.
So you feel like Instagram's easier to connect with people than what it was on YouTube?
Yes, easily, man. I mean, YouTube did have a good thing going for it. They did have instant messaging and DMs, the private messages. They did take that out like 6 or 7 years ago now. It's been a while. And I think ever since they took that out, I think YouTube started getting way less new people trying to like interact with each other and like make deals. I think Instagram really took over probably like 2015, 2016 it started taking over, I think, right? That was like the peak of it. That's when everybody started joining Instagram. Even if you weren't a card collector like I wasn't really big in cards back in when I got on Instagram. My first post, you can still go see them. They're all sports cards getting signed in person at minor league games, and that's what really drove me a second step into this hobby.
Yeah, no, I feel that, bro. I mean, I graph too, and it's fun, man, to get the card signed, and then when you start to get into the certified part, it's cool, man. The card community is really strong right now. I mean, this is like the peak.
Yeah.
This
Oh
reminds
yeah.
me of the old YouTube days, but like times a million.
Yeah, man, as a kid, just watching YouTube videos, I thought that was the biggest it would ever get. I never thought that there would be this much publicity and this much notoriety into sports cards now.
I
But
know who.
there's a lot of goods and there's a lot of bads that come
Hey,
with
who
it.
would have thought that I can't go to Target and find blaster boxes anymore?
Yeah, I was talking about that, man, earlier. Like, even in 2018, just all the Prism basketball, I could go every single day to my local Walmart, which I'm in a small town of like 13,000 people when I was growing up, and I could get the Kevin Durant blaster boxes. They'd be on the shelves. The mega boxes would be on the shelves. nobody would touch them. They would be literally collecting dust. I pulled my Lucas Silver out of one that was there the longest, and it's just flipped this year, man. Or even last year, I think. It was just crazy.
You can't even find 2021 Top Series 1 right now.
Yeah, it's...
Bro, like, what?
Yeah,
it's the rookie cards, man.
Yeah,
remember rookie
craze,
cards?
man.
Remember rookie cards? John Wall, Steph Curry rookie cards. Put them in a top loader. Put them in the box till later.
Exactly, or not even like sleeve half the cards. You know, like I have 2014 Prism base and like rookies I'll find that were just not even in a sleeve, not even in top loader. I just got it out of a blaster when I was down in Santa Cruz graphing the G League All-Star game, and I just ripped one box and I was like, oh, Giannis. I was like, oh, that guy's all right. It's his second year. It wasn't in a sleeve or anything. I found it in a box like I think 4 months ago. Sent it in and it got a 10. It's just it's crazy. And I sold that same card I think for 300 and. It's just crazy how it flipped so quickly. Like, nobody really saw it this crazy. I mean, all the top guys are obviously gradually going up in value, but rookie craze is a whole nother level. I think the market is starting to balance out now, but, yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I mean, it had to balance out for sure. So who's your team?
For basketball, it's got to be the Sacramento Kings, and
good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
Let's go.
we have a big passion for the Kings for sure, man. Cowbell Kingdom, Arco Arena was lit, man. 6-man. It was. I mean, people won't realize how crazy the Kings fan base is unless they actually go to a game. I know people always just joke about the front office and how bad of moves they make, but seriously, I think the Kings have the best fan base in the NBA.
Bro, we were like 19 wins and people were screaming like crazy, bro. And then when they tried to sell the team and we protested and sat in the arena, I was there that night.
Dude, I remember my first ever game. I was courtside. I have a ticket stub. I should have got it out. It was like 2007. It was like Timberwolves versus Kings, and Peja was going off. He's my all-time favorite King.
Yeah, he's amazing.
My second is obviously De'Aaron Fox, but I'll get into him later.
Remember this guy? Here's a blast from the past. I didn't think I was going to show this on the podcast.
Tyreek.
Look at this.
Hell yeah, dude.
This was warning the Lakers against Kobe. This shoe
that's insane.
Was insane. Like, this was unbelievable that he gave me his shoe that night. And then now
crazy.
I don't know. He works for the local school as a janitor. I don't know where he is.
Guys, they all make their own decisions, man. But when Tyreek was on the Kings as a rookie, I got to watch one of his game winners as a rookie. Or no, I don't know if it was rookie season. Do you remember the Nuggets versus Kings game? It was like probably 2010, 2009, around that time.
I don't know who they have. Chucky Atkins?
I don't know if Boogie was on the team. He might have been like a second year or something.
It probably was the year before.
Could have been. And he hit this nicest like game winner over Kenyon Martin.
Oh yeah, the spin move. I was there. I was there
too. I was in one of the corner seats on the opposite side.
Bro, I knew I saw you scumbag.
I was there with one of my buddies from middle school. I remember it clearly though.
Yeah.
That was a great moment, man. I think just watching sports live gives me a bigger sense of passion too for the team. And that's why.
And when you collect it.
Exactly.
When you collect it and you own that card, I was talking about this on my solo podcast. When you own the card, not just the PC, but if you own the card of the guy that hit the game winner, Damian Lillard hits a game winner after game 7, bro.
It just
cha-ching.
It gives you those dopamine, bro. It just gives you that big dopamine drive. You're just like, wow. I knew he was gonna do something.
I knew he was gonna be good. Let me post it on my story. I knew he was gonna be so good. Don't you guys didn't know? You guys had no idea how good Porter Jr. was.
It's like giving yourself, a pat in the back, like some credit where you feel like you've been, I don't know, just investing or collecting a guy for so long, just waiting for him to get his shot, and he finally does, and it's just a great feeling.
I can't wait for Kyle Guy to hit the big leagues.
He's already hit that game winner, bro. What do you mean?
I know. All right, dude, we gotta talk about this. What are some things about the community has no idea about you? Like, we know you collect cards. We know you're living in Oregon. You love the Sacramento Kings. What's some stuff that we don't know about you?
Well, people probably don't know I'm in Oregon. They're probably gonna call me a phony now because my name's NorCal Grouse. But another thing that probably people have no idea, or just some of my closer buddies, they might know. But me and my dad actually own a sound system company, so we actually go around to live events, mainly rodeos up and down the West Coast, and we could go to Wyoming and Nevada and Colorado sometimes. But last year, obviously, is a terrible year with COVID. There was no rodeos like whatsoever. So last year, I really actually went double down on cards, and I mean it flourished. I got 1099, so from the IRS now I got to pay taxes on because I sold so much on eBay. But I've never been in it for the money because I always had my dad's business to fall back on, and it pays pretty well still. Nothing crazy, but for a 24-year-old now, it pays the bills, and this could be really a truly hobby for me that if I want to buy something or I need to like sell some cards, I won't feel like I'm financially like in a burden.
Yeah, I feel that. And you have like a nice balance. I was talking about this with somebody else at the Dallas show. When I sell something, it's so I can keep something.
Exactly.
Like I bought 10 Tatis at 70 per, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're selling them too quick at 225, 250." It's like, I can use that $2,000 and buy like a Kevin Durant Chrome before it blows up or something like that. Something that like a DeMarcus Cousins National Treasures autograph for my PC.
Exactly.
Like I just that's where I feel like people need to recognize, like, when you're making a profit, like, use that money towards something else, right?
Yeah, people need to stop like being in that spectrum of, oh, I sold it way too early. I shouldn't have sold it. Like even if it's from like a week, it's like a $200 card, and then a week later it's 400. You're still making profit. Whatever your margins are, as long as you're making money, you're fine. Like even
And what are
if
you
you're
gonna do?
not even doubling,
You're gonna be saying
money.
that through the next year of collecting.
Exactly.
There's so much up and down, up and down. You got to just balance it out. Like MPT cards, like that guy, I love how he does it in TX Grass 32. They're very up to tune on how to move cards at the right time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Drew TX Graphs 32. That guy. I was talking to him earlier
He's
before
so
we got
cool.
on this podcast. He's a great guy. Drew is. You guys
Drew's
need to
amazing.
definitely follow him. He has probably new inventory every single day. It's insane to me.
He's hustling.
He'll FaceTime me and he says, "Dude, I have like all the same cards." I'm like, "Yeah, and you're gonna get all new ones, like 20 new cards by the next Dallas show." So in like a day. So that kid's a really big hustler, but he knows the ins and outs.
Yeah, no, dude.
Sure.
Dude, it just takes experience. Like you and I have experienced the 2010 collecting, how it was just kind of down and out, and then it just kind of ebbs and flows. But you and I have that experience. What's
exactly.
stopping all that stuff from happening again? The Blake Griffin hype and all that stuff.
I mean, there's hype every year, even no matter if the class is terrible and everybody knows it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's get into this. What's your biggest struggle, within collecting? Because I don't know if anybody really talks about that. Like, what would you say?
My biggest struggle is probably it's either grading turnaround times, but that's everybody's struggle really. So I can't really put that, but I think organizing. I think keeping my stuff organized is the hardest part. You do not understand how much inventory somebody has had for 10 years of collecting. It's ridiculous. I can't keep up with how many boxes that I get to put in cards. And I think that just organizing is like the biggest thing I need to work on with cards, and I still haven't mastered it, and it's been like 10 years for me. So there's always time, guys, and I mean, I'm 24 now. I should be getting my act together with organizing these cards because they could make me some pretty good money now. But it's tough, man. Organizing's got to be like the hardest part for me. It's like a first world problem, but I think just getting organized is my biggest thing, because a player could have like a 50-point game and I can't even find his card for a day or two, and then all of a sudden his hype is already down and stuff like that. I might forget I have a card too, and then I pick up another one on eBay and I'm like, and I find that card later. I'm like, why did I get that? So
yeah, no, dude, I totally get that. I mean, when you have a lot of stuff too, it's like half the time I'll leave stuff at my office, and it's nice that I leave stuff at the office because at the office I can put like an eBay stash together, and then at the office I'm just doing eBay listings or I'm doing Instagram deals, and it makes things a lot easier. The thing for me that I struggle with is balance. Life in the hobby, and that's for the last 10 years it's been like that. When I have a girlfriend, not as plugged into the hobby, right? You guys have seen me, like, like, bro.
Same here, man. Same here.
Life, man. Or like when I was in college and I was like grinding and out, trying to get my marketing degree, like I wasn't graphing a lot, and people would always message me like, "Dude, you're missing out on this. You're missing out on Bradley Beal. You're missing out on this." But it's like I had class or I had something going on, and looking back, it's like the Bradley Beals are all still here.
Exactly.
The cards are always going to be here. The LaMelo ball is going to be up high, and then once you come back, it's going to go down low.
Yeah.
But the balance, like when you have a girlfriend, or you're going for the master's degree or a business degree, or you're on the road for you, right?
Yes, exactly.
How do you develop balance? Like, I mean, during COVID, it's been a lot different, right?
Yeah, I mean, during COVID, I feel like a lot of people have now set their priorities straight. I think they've had a lot of time to think about it. But yeah, time is one thing that you can't buy, and if you don't use it wisely, it'll slip up on you, and you'll turn 30, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, I wanted to do so much more by the time I turn 30." And I think if what you're saying, if you have a great balance and you can do all that things while you're having a normal life, trying to start a family, having a great career, you can still do cards. You just have to allocate your time.
Dude, I feel that. Something I always tell anybody that is watching our podcast that's in high school, I want you to, take this at face value. If I could have done something different, I wish I played more sports. I wish I had played golf. I wish I would have tried out for basketball after I got cut. I wish I would have stuck with football. Like, I wish I could have done that. But my first year collecting was 2010. I was a sophomore, and I was just really plugged in. And I got to be honest, like, the hobby helped me a lot. And, I mean, in retrospect, like, everything happens for a reason. I'm actually glad I was plugged into the hobby when I was. And it is what it is. But, like, for other people, I think it's important to find that balance. So if you're in high school, play the sports, hang out with your friends, and that's important. So make that a priority, because that's something I missed out on.
Yes, definitely. Oh yeah. No, I think that's another thing too, is this hobby I feel like has turned their back on the younger generation trying to get into cards. It's more of an investment now, and I mean, when I was when we were first getting into it, we weren't.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, we didn't have any money to go and even buy a box of like cards. Really, I got a blaster box that was probably $10 from Blowout Forums. That was or Blowout Cards. That was my first ever box I ever bought, and ever since then, I would buy some singles here and there, and then it just gradually got better and better as I learned more about the hobby. Now it's kids are thrown into it, and it's like there's so much coming at them. They don't know. There's not a lot of people to tell them what they need to look out for and what they really need to invest their time into, or if they're just trying to do it for fun. There is none of that really. It feels like it's gone, and that is something sad with the hobby. I think that's one of the cons with the COVID bubble when that did happen. I think retail went ridiculous. Kids can't even get Pokemon now. Pokemon used to only be a kid's thing. I didn't even care about Pokemon a year ago, and now you can't even find it on retail shelves. And that thing used to be everywhere.
If there was like a true rookie market crash, nobody would buy that retail ever. I guarantee you. Because when we collected, guess what? Rookie cards were worth nothing. Nobody cared about these modern rookies.
There was
right?
No
I'm
PSA
speaking from
grading.
experience. I'm not going to bullshit anybody on the podcast. I've made some good money slabbing up the Anthony Davis rookies, slabbing up the Giannis, and just getting rid of it, and just selling it as is. I don't know. The market is unbelievable. And do I see the market dipping? Like, dude, no. Like anything, there's a correction needing to be, it had to happen. And there's millions of dollars hundreds of thousands of dollars being thrown into cards right now. So there's that too. I'm not telling anybody don't go buy the PSA rookies. I think it ebbs and flows. I just think you need to know that if you're going to drop $2,000 on a Luka base, could you have bought a Tatis purple chrome auto out of 150 for $3,000? Could you have bought something a little different, more seasoned up?
A little less volatile. Exactly.
Think about it.
I mean, just look at the pop reports. I think people are going to start looking at pop reports a lot more for cards that are flagship rookies. Say that Luka, he has, I don't even know how many Prism rookie like PSA 10s there are in the pop report, but compare it to like other products, and with the price differential, it has to come down. Like say his Chronicles rookie from Phoenix is like a $500 PSA 10 rookie, and his PSA 10 Prism is at like $1,500. They're going down. I know they're like at $1,200 or around there now, but I feel like they're going to start balancing out.
And also here's the key: the playoffs. There's going to be there's the playoffs. There is going to be a Donovan Mitchell or somebody that's or like a Tyler Hero. Remember those were $400?
I mean, he had that one game winner and he did the smirk, bro, and people went crazy. That's just
now
how Twitter and stuff is, man.
I know, but watch.
Just the hype.
Wait until the playoffs. There's going to be a Jaylen Brown or a Donovan Mitchell or Kyle Guy. We're going to be the 7th seed, baby. We're going to make the playoffs and we're not even going to be there.
Dude, I mean, they had a pretty good chance to beat the 76ers, but other
I
than
know.
that,
I
yeah,
just we're hot and cold our team, but I'm just saying like
yeah.
when the playoffs happens, that's when the cards will if you have the right cards, like the Jamal Murray, somebody's going to go off and then you're going to see like the spikes. That's just how it goes. Look
Jamal
at the
Murray, man.
bubble. I know, dude.
Yes. I
Um
mean,
so we talked
Jamal
about the
Murray is
cons.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know what you're going to say about Jamal Murray,
No, no,
but
no, nothing, nothing. No, 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 not
no,
that.
no, no.
Don't
Okay,
think
okay.
about that. No, no,
All
no.
right, all right, all right.
Cons. We'll
Not
talk
safe
about
for
cons.
work. Yeah, tons. All right, no, we talked about cons. So the cons are like the kids can't find retail. Kids are kind of getting into the weird part of not finding stuff. What about the pros? Like, what's some positive stuff? I'd say for me, the community is peak. We're at peak performance right now, and
Yes.
you can't take that away. Like, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I'd say that's probably one of the strongest pros. That, and obviously people are going to say the pricing. With record high sales, it can be either a pro or a con. With however you look at it, it can be either or. I think if everything didn't go up so quickly, nobody would even know that the market was booming. Like if say like a LeBron was still at like a 2003 Topps Chrome, like it was still at 2K or whatever for 9.5. Now they're what, 10, 13? They're like stupid. And I think if they just would have went gradually up with all this new people coming in, it would have kept it from people actually seeing that, oh, there's a bubble here. Like this is gonna pop soon. Like there's no way these prices can keep going up.
Well, yeah, but it's not going to be like I don't think it's going to be like the '90s where like it completely.
No.
But it's going down. Like it had to correct itself with all the stuff from PSA. There's millions and millions of your precious cards at PSA, including my own. Yeah, and I don't know when they're coming back. PSA, what's going on? I don't know. But but look at that. All those cards are coming back, and like, dude, here's the thing. I think when these vintage cards, people started throwing millions of dollars. I think people investing in the modern market got a little spooked.
Yes, for sure. Well, I mean, they started looking at their investment. And they're like, wait, yeah, they are right. One injury away from Trae Young, and we could be out of our whole investment, And you could just go and invest in Dwayne Wade, which he's most likely always going to be a better player than Trae Young after his whole career. Like Dwayne Wade is so much cheaper.
Hype.
I know that's the thing. It's
Trae
Young.
So if Trae Young drops 70 points, all those cards are gonna
exactly
touchdown.
It's what do they call it? Recency bias. So people like to watch the players.
Whoa.
What?
That was pretty good.
Recency bias?
I don't even know what that is. I'm learning something every day.
Well, it's like, so people will remember Trae Young's 50-point game before Dwayne Wade's last 50-point game, And so it's based on people are watching these guys still play. Like Luka's young. It's the excitement of actually getting to watch him. Like that's why there's different generations of collectors too, of who they think their GOAT is in NBA. Most people from our generation will say LeBron. A lot of people from 2 generations ago will say Jordan. And
what do you
that's
say?
Always the debate. It's too tough, man.
What would you say if you had to pick?
It's too tough, bro. I can't. I really can't. Cause like,
who's better, Kobe or LeBron?
Who? Between those two, I'd probably say LeBron.
Wow.
But that's just me. I think LeBron has had later in his career, LeBron compared to Kobe's early career, are nearly the same. It feels like where LeBron went to Miami and then Kobe already had Shaq and everybody earlier in his career to win his championship run. So I think just getting all-stars together. They both had all-star teams, like all-star teammates. So it's hard to really straight compare them. I hate comparing players like that. It's too tough because then you're setting yourself like just in a corner and you can't get out of it.
All right, who was your least favorite Sacramento Kings player ever? Francisco Garcia.
Why is he your least favorite?
Garthria. Dude, I can't.
Like Garcia?
I did not. I couldn't stand him.
Dude,
nice guy. Was such a nice guy.
That baseline inbound fade out of bounds, bro. That was his bread and butter. That was like his only shot he would swish.
That guy was so inconsistent.
My least favorite. Oh my goodness, man. That's so
John
tough.
Salmons?
No. Ooh, Spencer Hawes. So yeah, you got.
Dude, anybody from Washington's they're gonna be pissed that you said that.
But he just, I don't know.
He wanted the Kings to leave Seattle. Or he wanted the Kings to go to Seattle.
Yeah, and it's.
When the Sixers came to town, we booed him. I booed him at the team hotel.
Oh my goodness, there's so many, dude. That
I thought Jason Thompson was gonna be so great.
Dude, I thought a lot of
He
guys.
was a great guy.
Ben McLemore was my favorite when he was coming out of the draft, bro. And that guy was
Thomas
terrible.
Robinson. Oh my god, I invested money
That
in him.
guy was never.
All right, we're leading up. We're gonna lead up to it.
Yeah.
What was your worst card investment, or the couple worst ones? Like, what are the worst ones you went through?
It's gonna be a lot of like PC players for me.
Since it's PC, it's not a big deal, right?
It's not a big deal for me. I don't usually invest into guys unless I like really like them if they're not on my team. Like some guys, I mean Marvin Bagley probably my worst, to be honest.
Do you have a lot of money in him?
I had a lot of money of him. I did have not like crazy amount. I don't put a lot of money into cards like buying and flipping. I'll like buy like cards here and there randomly on surges or I'll go like a whole month of just buying Marvin Bagley cards. Like I need.
Is there anybody that you bought though that you were just like, okay, this is gonna be great. I bought it for $800. It's gonna be worth $4,000.
No, see, like that's the problem.
You don't play the game.
I don't play that game. I don't play the high risk, high reward. I play the low risk, high reward.
Did you buy a Drew Lock PSA 10 for $450?
No.
I did.
I graded. I don't usually buy graded cards. I usually try to just rip myself when it was feasible to rip and actually make money, and then I'll buy on eBay. A lot of the times I get gems off eBay just raw. Like I look at the seller, if he's not selling like slab cards on his page, I'm like, this is probably going to be a good chance. It might be like 9 to 10 quality with PSA, and that's the main way I make.
Just buy. I mean, raw cards, sending them graded. I mean, I have like $4,000 worth of cards at PSA, so and I owe them $4,000. It's not $4,000 value. It's like, who knows, right?
Yeah, you have no idea because you can go into it and hoping that you could even be like certain to yourself that I'm gonna get 8 10s out of the 10 cards I sent, and then you get back 5, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, it happens.
And I've gotten cards that have corner dings that get 10s, and then some that look perfect to me to get 9s. So I don't understand it half the time. That's why it's kind of a crapshoot when you do sub, because they are just taking your money and they're giving their opinion, and you don't know which grader it is. You have no idea who's grading your cards. It could be somebody that's overqualified, that should be higher in that company, or it could be somebody they just hired like a month ago, and
somebody's having a bad day. They spilt their Caniac combo from Cane's, and they come into PSA and it's a 5.
Well, and they're already stressing too because they just get hired, these new employees, and now all of a sudden they're into the fire, and they're like, we have 40 million cards we got to get through by the end of this year, guys. Like, you guys cannot take any breaks. Let's go. And I'm sure that a lot of stuff goes unnoticed when they're working so fast and trying to get these orders out. I mean, it's minimum like 300 card orders for bulk orders. So just think about how much time that would take a grader to go.
What can they do what do you think? What's like a couple things they could do to change it so it's better? I think P. Ryan Collection used to say like the technology. Like, that's a good idea.
It is a good idea. It's just still you're not going to be able to see when the light. If you look on the back of the card, you're not going to be able to see a dent when they just scan it, And if they just scan it straight face value, you're not going to see all the reflections. You're not going to see exactly if there's peeling on the corner. Unless they can get like a 4K camera, maybe they have it with 4D or 3D, scanning technology. I don't know yet. That is a good
Well, they got Nat Turner now, so Nat Turner at the helm. He's he's gonna make some moves. I think he'll help. Yeah. He'll help PSA a lot. Joe Orlando's good, obviously, but I think they just they need some work. But they'll figure it out. I think they will. They'll be all right. Nat Turner's good. Okay, my next question: is there like a card that you wouldn't put a price tag on that you just want to keep forever, or an autograph?
Yeah, I have a couple actually, but I mean they're all gonna be PC. But this one I have a pretty cool story about. It's a 2008 Bowman Chrome. I don't know if you can see it very well.
Look at
it's
that.
A 2008
Bumgarner.
Bowman Chrome X-Fractor Prospect Auto Bumgarner. And it got a 9.510. So a funny story about this card is when I first started collecting, I think it was probably my 3rd year in, I bought this card for about $80 off eBay. It was in the height of the Giants dynasty, but cards back then were nowhere near valued as what they should be, in my opinion. So I had that card, and when I was that young collector, I thought screw downs were the best thing ever. So I had those huge jumbo ones, the ones that have the huge screw on it, and it's like, it's huge. I don't know how to explain it.
The one with
exactly.
that you can put 3 cards in it?
No, it's one card, but it was like this. It was way too big. It was oversized. It was like two BGS slabs put together, with the card just in the middle, sandwiched in there as you tighten it up.
Oh my god.
And when I finally got back on to collecting, like in 2017, early 2017, my buddy Ben Garnett Sports Cards, who people on YouTube would know him as Yo Show Your Hits. So
What's
I know
going on YouTube? We got a rant here. He's great.
Oh yeah, shout out Ben.
Shout out
Ben
Ben.
Quiggs.
B Quigs.
But yeah, no, I reconnected with him on Instagram, and then he was doing BGS RCR reviews at card shows, and those things were so money, man. So I just subbed like 10 cards with him, and randomly one of them was the Bumgarner. I was like, this is probably not going to grade that well, and it ends up getting a 9.510. And I'm like, well, I definitely want to get that slabbed up. So he sends it to his guy that he goes through to get subbed with BGS. And the guy's telling him that this isn't going to 10. The centering's way off on the back and on the front, and it still gets a 9.510. So I just always thought this card wasn't supposed to be a Gem Mint 10, but it is, and I'm never going to move it. It's just one I've always had. Didn't care about what condition it was in, and he's always been one of my favorites. Just watching him growing up, being a Giants fan, man, it was surreal, because that's like the only team that I am a fan of that actually had a dynasty in my lifetime. Like, I didn't get to watch the 80s and the 90s of the Niners. I didn't get to watch the really early 2000s of the Kings, because I wasn't old enough to know what was going on. And so right when the peak of me getting into sports cards and really getting into sports just in general, like just always checking every single sports site, every single sports channel, every single day that I can, every single hour really as a kid. And just being a Giants fan and getting to see that and experience that was just crazy. And Bumgarner was one of the biggest reasons why they won 3 World Series in 5 years.
Dude, that's okay. What you just described there, that's collecting. That is the passion. That's I don't care how much this card's worth. I don't care what condition it is. That meant something to you, bro. That's your life right there. It happened during your lifetime. Bro, you're closer to the game. Even though Bumgarner's off the walls, I don't know if he's on the Diamondbacks or where he's at now, but it doesn't matter. It meant something to you. Exactly. That's what this is right here.
Yeah, exactly.
This right here. I don't care about the money. I will never care about the money. It's I freaking grew up like in high school watching him and just getting close to him and being a part of that. It's like Chris Webber. I have such a soft spot for Chris Webber because I grew up watching him, and that I was a kid and I was 8 years old, crying when the Lakers beat us, the Kings. I remember that like it was yesterday. I mean, and that was a part of my childhood,
See, I wish I kind of went through it, but then again, I don't, because that would have been one of the biggest daggers in my heart.
Game
as a
6,
fan, bro.
Game 6 of 2002, Laker fans.
I've watched
Game
it
6.
probably 20 times over and over.
Game 6, 2002, Laker fans. You guys are gonna hate me right now. Game 6, watch it over. Dude. Here comes the dislikes.
No. Nobody's gonna watch from LA.
No, yeah, they will. I get shit on all the time about freaking being a Kings fan.
It's perfect though.
And Kobe dominated us in Game 7. You guys dominate us in Game 7. It doesn't even matter.
Exactly. Yeah, but. Yeah, no, that's going to always stick with you. And that's a thing that you'll always remember. You'll always remember that team, too, Bibby, Peja, Hidu, all of those guys. Doug Christie, yeah, all of them. Vlade.
But what you just described, bro, like, that collecting side is so important. I wish the kids that are going to come up and collect, I hope that, I don't know about the Trae Young getting attached to him like that, but...
No, not yet.
Hey, if you're a Grizzlies fan, D'Anthony Melton.
Hey, he's a great bench player.
Dude, he really is. I'm just joking, but
well, I mean, and there's always guys like that, like kids. I don't know. Some people are just, they don't like the guy that's getting the ball every single time. They like the guy that doesn't have to get the ball, but he's always there. He's always when it matters. He's clutch. Like this kid, Tyrese Halliburton, reminds me a lot of that.
Dude,
and like
he's the most unselfish player I've ever seen.
And when you have a clutch gene, you don't learn that over time. You just have it. This kid's had it. It's crazy. The first 3 games of like the year against the Nuggets, and 2 of those games, he hit like 3 or 4 like threes in the fourth quarter, like in crunch time. And I think kids need to just like find what they like in a player, and then
Tyrese is a good one, man.
Oh yeah,
not for money. Just he's unselfish. He doesn't have an ego. Watch Tyrese Halliburton play, guys. He passes the ball, and I don't even care about investments. I'm talking if you want to find a player that has like a good heart and they're just passionate on the floor every time, and they're not in it for their own stats. That's the player. Yeah, and then look at Damian Lillard.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that guy.
Damian Lillard is he's fought through a lot of just like not getting turned down. You know, he didn't have a D1 really scholarship. Where did he go to school?
Weber State.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think about how good he is now.
And he's so chill.
He's always had that clutch gene too, man. That's another guy where you give it to him the last seconds, he's gonna hit it more times than not.
Bro, he's got passion. He's got heart, like you said, the clutch. Like,
and he's a rapper too. That's another avenue that can bring people into cards. He's probably connecting with all the top rappers, and then they're looking into cards now. They're like, hey, I want to get cards of my boy Damian Lillard, you know. And I think that's another thing why the market got so crazy too, with how many new celebrities. But
look at Logan. There's Logan Paul and all these other guys. Like it's insane, dude. But I mean, that's good. Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna say a bold statement here. You know, investors, flippers, I'm glad you guys are here. But if you're a collector, whatever happens with the market doesn't matter. Collectors, you will win. If you're a true collector, you will win. If you're on that side, there's going to be a lot of up and down, and you got to deal with it. But I'm not going to deny that people are making profits. People are making money. Hey.
Oh yeah.
My hat's off to you.
Hats off. Exactly.
Congratulations. Like I'm glad. I want to see people win. Just like in the community, I want to see people fill their box breaks. I want to see you guys like I want to see you talk about all this stuff. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, no, I think that this is a void too that's been in like the social media aspect of sports cards, that nobody really talks about the collecting side of it. They always just talk about the flipping and investing and monetary value of cards rather than
look how much money I made on this card. It's like
exactly.
After a while, don't you guys get saturated out by seeing somebody drops like you know what I mean? Like it's cool, it's awesome, but like after a while, it gets a little stale.
Yes, stagnant for sure.
But it's cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's cool to see, and I like that. But it's just it gets a little too much.
I think it's cool right now because not as many people have seen this crazy like big margins on profits. You know, I think eventually it's gonna die away. You know,
like when I sold my Giannis, I'll be honest with you, like bro,
it felt good, right?
Bro, when that guy's counting the money. And like, you know, people are peeking around and you're just like, and then I got my camera guy, hey bro, record this.
But it's also that's a rush about it too. There's so many different.
I know I get caught, bro. I'm not perfect, man. I get caught up in the money side too. Like I'm trying to find the balance. That's why I'm talking about it.
Yeah, but you still have your own collection. You still have your own personal collection that you still add to with that profit money. You're not just using that straight money to go and invest into more like Giannis Prism or into the next guy. You're putting some of that money into the guys you like that you don't really care if you make money on, and you sold that card, that Giannis, so that you can fund your PC better.
The next show, dude, honestly. That Giannis, I'm so glad I got rid of it. Like I love Giannis. I think he's a great player. But like in my circumstance, pulling that card from a pack and just getting the cash, it was time to just let it go, dude. The card's going for like 3.2 now. You
have it for what, 9 years, right?
9 years, and in 8 of those years, it was sitting in a box.
So yeah, I mean, sometimes it's time, bro, and you've looked at the card enough that somebody else can now go and enjoy it. Like I think about it sometimes is that way.
Arkansas sports cards.
Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah, he got a good deal.
What's like a huge like life lesson you learned through collecting? Like I've learned a lot just being in this community. I'm talking like marketing, like I applied what I learned in marketing, but like in the community, I mean, I've learned about communication, I've learned about like respect, how to do a deal. Like there's so many, like what did you learn? Like what are some lessons?
A lot of lessons derive about just being personable with people and being truthful and being like genuine. I think a lot of people, if you're fake and you are really like behind their back, you're like, oh, I'm gonna screw this kid over, you're not gonna last, and people are gonna get that vibe off of you. People, I think, in this hobby, they really can get an eye out for like people that care about the hobby and people that don't care, like are just in it for the money. And I think it does. I think that's what taught me is really who to pick, who your friends are, and who to keep close and who to not. Other than that, man, I think a lot of it is like life lessons too on just selling stuff and like bartering. That's the main, like making a deal, you know? Like I wouldn't have ever gotten that in high school. Like when would you be in high school in a class where they're telling you about how you have this certain amount of value in a card, and and you could either sit on it and invest in it and hold it and then sell it for more, or you could trade it. You could do all these different things, and it's not just with cards. You can do it with everything in life, really.
Real estate, bro,
With,
stocks.
yeah,
Like I know people that are into cards are have more money into real estate and stocks right
yeah,
now, and it's
exactly.
insane. Like how it all just comes together. I think you nailed it though. Like at the end of the day, and I talk about this all the time. Like I know that I can't get everybody to like me in this community. Dude,
Yeah,
it's just a fact. Like, you can't do it, I can't do it. But what I can tell you is the people that do appreciate me and we're transparent and we're working with one another and I want to see you win and I want to win, but I want to see you guys win too. That's where, like, I draw the middle line, you know?
yeah,
That's why we're doing the podcast, bro. I
exactly.
I think it's important. And I think there's plenty of passionate collectors just like you and I that are just, like, totally under the radar that need to be, like, out there, you know?
Well, I mean, I don't need to be. We don't need to be out there. I think we just need to be another avenue for people to actually go and see a different look on the hobby. I think a lot of people just look at it one way, and I
I like
think we're
that.
giving it. We're bringing it back to what it was. What the core of this hobby was. It's derived on your personal collection and who you like watching, what kind of cards you like, what kind of products you like to rip, and I think people were just in it for money, and like they rip nowadays just to look and try to chase the highest dollar cards still. And it used to be looking for your favorite players and products,
Bro, I
not
love
for
that.
the number one player.
I love
And I
that.
think that's just it's gotten into like such a narrow minded, like you look down just one street, like it's just a tunnel, and that everybody has tunnel vision. And I think if more people get into it for the right reason of just collecting what you love, I think the market would balance itself out. It would be a lot less ridiculous prices for retail. I think a lot more kids could get into it, back into it. I just don't think it's just too far gone with how much values of rookies are now. Right off the first product, like look at 2021 Top Series 1. I mean, last year Boba Fett rookies were what, $2 a pop, like out of it.
Dude, Series 1 was loaded too last year.
Yeah, but like even
Jordan,
even with how
Gavin,
much loaded it was, how much were Boba Fett rookies? And
like
like
two to
now,
five
what
dollars.
what are Joe Adele's doing? If they're doubled, then
They
there's
gotta
something
be
wrong.
double. I know.
Then
I
there's
don't.
something
I
wrong.
know. That's dude. You made some great points there.
Well, I mean, it's when you've seen almost everything in this hobby, what it's done, other than obviously the '90s craze. I wasn't around for that. But seeing when it was at such a lull to now, it's at the highest it's ever been. There are some like discrepancies that you see along the way and stuff that you can tell that won't last.
I
In
get
this
that.
hobby.
I mean, look at this, dude. Like, so you and I weren't a part of the '90s. Then let's
Yeah,
fast forward to 2010 when you and I made it.
yeah,
Dude. Like, remember like when we go to card shops and they people would come in with those '90s cards and the dude would always say like, dude, they're worthless. Like, we don't want them. And then you get then the Derek Jeter rookies, the Griffey Jr. Like nobody cared about those. Then you get to like
exactly.
now and it's like,
Griffey has gone ridiculous. I
I
checked his
know
prices
he's gone
last
up.
like last month, man, and his stuff's just been gradually going. I mean, he is a safe investment though. He's one of the greatest,
He's
in
great.
my opinion. And the generation that he came through is what the hobby is being like. That generation is what's driving the hobby with the new prices, in my opinion. It's people that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s now that actually have a steady income and they have money to invest into this stuff. So now they look at that card rather than as a kid. This was a cool card because he was the best player that's playing and young player. So like that, the star rookie of Griffey is always just going to keep going up with that generation, always pumping more money into it.
Good.
And I think
Good.
that there can
Good
be
points.
there can be like flagship cards of generations of sports hobby in this hobby. I don't know what this generation is going to be. I don't know at all. I mean, obviously the last one I'd say is LeBron in there. Um, I don't know what's going to be like the 2010s. I mean, is it going to be Trout? Is he the main one? Is it going to be Mahomes? We don't know. And I don't think that they can get much higher, man. Their prices are ridiculous right now. Like compared to when people were holding their Griffies from 1989 all the way till now, the price,
Oh, I know.
increase to then is just so much different than if you just had Patrick Mahomes just sitting in a box from 2017 Prism retail because nobody wanted Prism football back then. And now that card is,
It's
what is
insane.
it as a PSA 10? Like 70,000?
I don't know.
It's like
They're
stupid.
like ebbing
So
and flowing. I don't know. But yeah, I
and
get what you're
so
saying.
yeah, I mean Mike Trout he did have a spike on his 2011 update, But I still think there is actually room for his card to go as long as he keeps his trajectory, man. He's going to be a top 5 player ever if he keeps it up. Like he could be. And baseball has had so many more years of historical seasons and players than any other major league sport. So if Trout is in the top 5 of that, he could be this generation's, like milestone card, flagship card. I don't know. It's something to think about.
Time will tell, man. Kind of, moving on toward our cap here. What advice do you have for a new collector coming in? Is that our sponsor in the back?
No, it's my sister. She's doing her homework. I got the printer in here. Sorry.
Hey,
she was calling me during it.
Oh, okay, it's all good. What advice do you have for new collectors? The people that have never done this, the sneakerheads, the kids, you've seen them. They're coming in out of nowhere.
I think you need to do your own research. That's the main thing. If you're just gonna listen to what other people are telling you you think that they're more credible just because they have a higher following, or say one of their buddies is doing it, you need to think for yourself. And that's the one thing that I did. I don't have a lot of Luka and stuff anymore. I don't have all that stuff because that's not what I was researching. And I was researching Mikal Bridges, in 2018, that rookie class. I was like, this kid's way too cheap. The NBA is switching to 3-and-D wing players way more than point forwards and guards nowadays. And I saw that there was opportunity with Mikal Bridges and stuff like that. And you need to find a player like that you can just invest in cheap, and you don't have to worry about losing that money.
And you like watching him.
Exactly. Like another guy, you just need to go out there and look for guys that aren't getting the attention sometimes, or research a card that isn't maybe getting the right value, priced on it. There's products that come out every year as well that maybe you should stay away from, that Hoops Premium, it's already dipping in prices. I'm
glad I sold those.
People are going to have so much PSA.
Those complete sets.
Yeah, there you
go. Look at all those people probably sent all those
on 5-day. They didn't just send them on 20-day. They sent them on 5 days, $65 a card to get graded at PSA, and now they're all coming back the same time. It's not going to make the price go up.
People are going to dump them.
Realize that
they're going to dump them. $120, $130, $120.
Yeah, they see what the last price was. They're like, oh, $300 for a Zion Hoops Premium variation PSA 10. They get it back within a month, and it's already a $150 card.
Hey,
that's another thing.
So you're telling me that you don't think new collectors should go to McDonald's and get the Happy Meal Pokemon cards?
I think they can if they want to. That's a cheap way to get into it. But that's not sports cards either. That's PokeMan, as Vegas Dave would say. Pokemon.
Dude, you're not supposed to say his name on the podcast.
Sorry, Voldemort. My bad. Voldemort of the hobby.
We're not supposed to say his name. Ugh, that was our rule.
Just don't clip this part. We're good.
No, it's all good. We just didn't want to talk. Yeah, we didn't want to say it. It's all good. All right, so you don't do Pokemon? I know, I'm just kidding.
I do actually do Pokemon. That's actually funny. I got into it again 2 months ago, man. I'm far into the.
Hey, Charizard can't tear his ACL, so.
Exactly.
But he can't win MVP.
There's always that.
He did win Rookie of the Year, maybe. I don't know. Pokemon Trainer of the Year?
You could. They still got the card game going, bro, and the card game still got World Championships every year, man. They're getting bigger and bigger.
All right, what's the biggest break you've ever taken from collecting? The most time you've taken off? For me, I'll talk about mine first.
Yes.
I took a year off collecting when I went to Marquette. I graphed
I forgot you went to Marquette.
I know. I met Giannis when he was 18 years old, bro. That was insane. But I took a year off, bro. I just enjoyed college, and I developed 101 in a dorm room.
Yeah.
Getting that going.
Yeah, you had a vision too, man. I think a lot of people don't even realize that you making that group and setting that up. I think it made so many ripples in the whole hobby itself, not just graphing. I think in sports cards in general, it made such a big whole. I don't even know what to call it, man. It's it was transcendent, really. It was, because now everybody can instantly in real time ask questions that everyone's always had, And I think it just made everybody more connected, and I think it grew the hobby more than it would have been today. Really, I think you were one of the starts. Because of making those groups, it made people get connected, made people realize that there's this much interest in everything in sports, really.
That's what we're and look, that's what we're doing again.
Yes.
It's all coming together now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
But
It's
what's the biggest
awesome.
break you took? Would you take a year off?
My
What'd you do?
I took more than a year off.
Really?
Um, yeah, I didn't do cards from like 2014, I think it was when I stopped, and then until 2017 I picked it back up because during that time in like 2013 and 14 I started graphing a lot more, and so cards kind of took the back burner for me. And I just started focusing because I would travel so much. It was hard, anyways, to just get cards unless I went to card shops wherever I went to and ripped boxes, which I did occasionally. But most of the times, I was always near a minor league team. And so what I do, I just bring the cards that I ripped from years ago that I already had, and I just go and get them signed. And that was my fix, for sports and just going out there and talking to other collectors. Because most of those people back then, they weren't doing it mainly for the money. And I got to meet a lot of star players that are to now today, even through the minors that nobody knew who they were. And it's just, I don't know. I just took a break from straight sports card collecting to that, then came back in 2017, and I think I went full force into it, man. And it's been good. I've really enjoyed being back and collecting what I first started getting into.
What is going on, everybody? We are here, still here, podcasting with my boy NorCal_Grass, and we're gonna lead you into the last couple questions here. You obviously have a passion for collecting, and I mean, I could totally see it, and I appreciate all the feedback that you brought us here. I think a lot of new collectors and people that are still collecting but feel kind of like
Yes,
they're
exactly.
lost. I think you'll bring them back on track with that. So does anybody in your family collect anything?
My dad, he used to collect old motorcycle, like from the 70s. He actually used to go. He was pro back in his high school, right out of high school for motocross riding. So he collects some of that. Nobody really collects cards in my family per se. My cousin, he does collect a lot of Raiders stuff. I've given him a Derek Carr.
The Raiders.
The Raiders. Yeah, get Chris Berman in here. Back.
You're telling me your cousin's not investing $1 million into Derek Carr?
No, he actually hasn't, unfortunately, and he could have been doubled that investment maybe, huh? Derek Carr's been really taking off, man. No, I think a lot more actually people. I don't know. Somebody in my family could be getting into it. My cousin, he was thinking about getting into Pokemon cards if he could find some because he moved out to Tennessee and he was asking me what to look for, but nobody's really as hardcore as I am, man. But that's okay, and I mean it's just my hobby, and it's cool to have something that's different than your whole family does, And I think there's obviously a lot of people, their family obviously collects because that's how they were passed on the tradition of and that love for this hobby is through their parents or their dad, and just something like that. So yeah, it is kind of weird how I got into the hobby and I'm sure none of your parents collected at either.
Bro, my parents don't collect. My mom and dad don't collect at all. Like when my dad found out I was going to Dallas, he's like, "What is in Dallas? Why would you go there?" And then when I came back, he was like, "I'm so proud of you." And he's like, "I kind of get what you're doing now." And I was just like, "Yeah." So my dad was pretty cool, but my dad doesn't collect anything now.
Yeah, we were different. We were different than like the normal people that got into like sports cards, at a young age.
Wait, there's normal people collecting?
Well, I mean, that's true. Yeah, we're all a different breed. That's for damn sure. We're collecting, as Patrick Ryan would say, pictures of little men.
It's so funny.
This is my favorite. All right, I love that line, dude.
If I give, if I give you $10,000 to invest right now, what are you gonna buy?
Man, that's tough. I looked at this. I thought about this one for a while too. There's so many different avenues you can look into. At the basis of for me, I look at what's the most popular sport. Obviously, baseball is gonna be like third on that list at the most. I'd say football and basketball are up there as like either or could be argued as the number one sport. Obviously, ratings are down in both, but I'd almost say basketball because I feel like if you look at the top 10, top 15 NBA players of all time, I think there's still a lot of money to be made in those sectors, but a lot of people are putting their money into it right now. So you don't always want to follow where people are going. You want to try to find something that people forgot about. But putting $10,000 into anything right now, I'd probably, like if it has to be a player, I probably put it into like Tom Brady, man. I think Tom Brady he solidified his as the greatest athlete of our lifetime, in my opinion. But that's my opinion.
He's amazing, bro.
I think if he gets another one, it's done. Like he's gonna be the one that sets the mark for every single card sale ever. Like he'll be the highest. So it's tough though, because all of his stuff is skyrocketed, and I don't know who's gonna be the next person to skyrocket. He's like the last great player that's still playing, you know. Like LeBron. Yeah, exactly. In football, like in basketball, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot more different players that you can actually base off of, because Bill Russell's not the greatest of all time, yet he has like the most amount of NBA championships by one player. And there's so many different avenues on like the top 10 players of all time that you can collect in and invest in. I mean, I think like Kareem stuff is still undervalued. He's still the most scored points ever, and it's tough with 10,000. You don't want to all just put it all into one player either. I'd put it into different eggs. I put way different like baskets, you know.
Like spread it out.
Exactly.
I feel it.
And just hedge your bets.
That's valid. Do you ever regret putting like so much time into the hobby?
No. I mean, here and there, I mean, I'll like my dad will get mad at me if I'm on my phone too much maybe when I was younger, but no, I think I spent maybe too little of time, in my opinion. I could have spent more time actually looking at the avenues that I know now. Like looking when I was a kid, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like when I'd get on eBay, I don't know what I'm looking for, and I don't need. So I think if I knew more about like researching into the hobby at a younger age, then I probably would say that I spent way too much time, but I don't think I spent nearly enough time in it, man. And I think I wouldn't regret it any time I put in right now.
You can tell yourself, your younger self, as a collector, one piece of advice. Only one thing. What would you tell him?
That's such a tough one, man. Well, I'd say get on grading and look into that. Like, just get it going. Because when I first started, grading was barely a thing. It was just for the top cards, you know. And I think if I would have been ahead of the curve with that, could have set the market on a lot of cards.
Do you remember when people liked BGS 9.5s instead of 10s?
Yes, I did. I hated the PSA slab.
I thought I know
the BGS slab.
But then the crisp 10.
Yes.
That's the crisp 10 is what people chase now.
People would send it flipped like probably last year. Probably 2 years ago. It flipped. BGS was the most popular company, and everybody would send their top value cards to BGS. No questions asked. Then it switched to PSA. PSA used to just take the rookie cards, like the flagship rookies and stuff, like the cheaper end stuff. Now it's flipped, I think. I don't know.
It's completely flipped. It's a 180. I can't believe it.
BGS is more of like one you just send it that you send them now, whatever PSA 9s you have, you just send them to BGS now, and it's used to be the other way around almost.
I know. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I used to always crack BGS like 9s and try to send them to PSA, but they'd always get 9s because I think BGS is more lenient. But
yeah, what's your favorite part about being involved in the Instagram community?
Man, probably just meeting new guys that I'll like be friends with for 10 years down the line for the rest of my life. Even I think I've made a lot more like friend relationships than I would have with any other social media site, in my opinion. I don't think Twitter is as personable. I think Instagram, you can go in and post stuff that you like to see, and then you can follow other people that you like their stuff, and it's just cool to, I don't know, just interact with everybody really easily on Instagram. You can just message somebody instantly. I mean, Twitter, you can do that too, but it just doesn't have the same feel because cards are pictures, and Instagram is basically a picture-driven platform, and I feel like that's why it works so well. Obviously, the selling part of it isn't the best, and the marketplace deal they added in wasn't the best either, in my opinion. But I feel like there's gonna be a new program or a new selling site that'll be a little more personable than eBay and shit, like stuff like that. So
I gotta ask you, since you brought up eBay, what's your deal with eBay? You don't like them?
No, I mean eBay, you have to love them and you love to hate them. So hate to love them and love to hate them. But yeah, if eBay wasn't there, man, this wouldn't even be a thing really that we're talking about, like with the hobby going crazy.
What's your least favorite part about eBay? Like your least favorite parts? Like
It's
why
got
does
to
it
be
bother you?
this. It's got to be the sellers that don't have a clue what they're doing on there, and the seller or the buyers too that will just they'll buy a card on auction, and then that night the player plays and he has a terrible performance. Like a prime example for me is that I sold a Daniel Jones like PSA 10 Prism rookie on auction for like 120 or something during the middle of the season. It was just before the Thursday night game against the Eagles. And what happened in that game was he went for an 80-yard run, and then he tripped up at the end in the last, like, 5 yards. I don't know if you remember that game.
Oh yeah.
And so the buyer thought it was hilarious because I kept messaging him and being like, when are you going to send? When are you going to pay? And then right after that game, he messages back. He's like, didn't you see that dumbass last night? I'm not going to pay for this. And they think it's just a joke. And I think it's funny, too, if you want to make it a joke, because then you're done. But eBay, they don't care enough. I think that there's not a lot of repercussions for people to do that.
Wait, so that fucking guy didn't buy the card?
No, he didn't buy the card.
All right, what's his eBay name? We need it.
I posted it on Instagram when he did that shit. People were like, no way did
goodness.
this guy do it. I was like, he's probably just a kid and he's an idiot. But yeah, I get those at least once or twice a month when I would do auctions. I don't do auctions anymore. I just do buy it now and just wait for people to buy it. I don't like to do the auction style. It's just too stressful for me. Because I could put up so much and just have backlogged of stuff I got to send out, and just doesn't make it as time management as well. But there's a lot of good with eBay as well.
I made some good sales on there.
Exactly, and you couldn't sell it anywhere else. Some cards that you post on Instagram, you post on Facebook, you post everywhere except for eBay, and it won't. Nobody even cares. Nobody even comments on it. And then you put it on eBay for like a day, and it sells. So it's the biggest platform for like the biggest reach. So it has the most amount of users that are looking for stuff. So unless MySlabs and all these other sites can actually get to that level, I just don't see eBay ever slowing down. It's always going to be they're going to be the Amazon of sports cards.
I just wish the return policy is getting better, but they really need to fix that. I know they're getting better at it.
Yeah, I know that their last like whatever they had was they took off the return policy. You don't have to have that on to get like the seller discount or whatever, the percentage on your fees.
Yeah.
So I guess that's cool, but they shouldn't have ever had it like that anyways. They should have it based on how many business days you take of your handling time to get the cards out. That's how they should base your fees, in my opinion. I think it would keep a lot more eBay sellers.
Promote some better selling.
Yes, exactly. I think they need to have incentives for sellers, because I've been doing the same selling my whole, like, it feels like my whole time, like being on eBay from like 2014 or something when I made this newer account. And I feel like if there's actually incentives to, like, say you got a certain amount of feedback in 1 month, that you get cheaper fees. I'm sure there is a way like that, obviously, with the bigger accounts, but they just, I don't know. It's hard to be gratified as a seller on eBay, because they just don't seem like they fully care about them. They care a lot more about the buyer than the seller, in my opinion, which can be good, but it can also be bad, because the seller's what's always going to drive your market.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, so how pumped are you for Dallas? Like, what are you trying to? Do you have any goals of Dallas? Or are you just going into it with an open mind?
I went in with an open mind last time, and I saw some things that I need to do a little better next time, and what to bring. Obviously,
what would you do differently?
I'd bring a lot more cash than even cards. I'd try to sell stuff before I get there, because they're not going to buy any of your stuff for eBay comp. If anybody listening is wanting to go, just remember that this is a show. Everybody's not going to pay you exactly what eBay comps are. That's not how this works, because you get fees on those eBay comps anyway. So, like, say a card sold for $150, you're really only getting like $130, if that, after fees and shipping fees.
So they'll pay you like $100 for it.
Yeah, exactly. Or
they want
80%
under comps.
Yeah. So you just got to go into that knowing that, and you will be a lot better, because then you'll be willing to move stuff. And always have that in the back of your mind. You always have to be willing to stop the deal or go through with the deal. You can't, like, mess around, because they're just going to leave, and they're not going to want your card after that, and then they're not going to want to do business with you. The easier that you have your mind set before you go into a deal, then the easier the deal's going to go. So, like if you have $200 into a card, you know it sells for $400. The guy wants $350, or he's offering you $300. You do that because you know you're still making money. like stuff like that. Just
No,
go into it,
totally
go
feel
into
it.
the whole show. Yeah.
Bro, I mean, literally a month from today, you and I are
Yeah.
getting on flights and we're going to Dallas. Like,
Yes,
this
sir.
is going to be amazing. So,
I'm excited, man.
yeah, man, me too. It's going to be a good time. We're going to do a vlog. We're going to have a good time, hang out with the guys. And, yeah, man,
Oh, yeah.
we're going to try to behave ourselves, right?
Well, yeah, but we're all of age out there, man. It's
Yeah.
we haven't ever done this too. That's the thing. Is
I
that
know. No, I've
on
never
the on
done.
the
I
West
never, dude.
Coast,
I was
man?
so intimidated when I walked in.
It gets it. There's a lot of people you've seen on Instagram from afar, and you're like, holy shit. There's a lot of people in here that have crazy collections as well, and don't ever get overwhelmed, guys. Just go into there and you be proud of what you have, and don't ever get jealous because it's only gonna make the show worse for you.
Bro, it
Just
sounds like walking into the tryout for a football team.
exactly. That basically, I mean, it's a great show. I think it is. And
It's
in
so
November,
fun. After, like, the trade nights, dude,
yeah,
that's where it's
a
at.
cool ass time, man. The vibes there are great. They're A1, A1. All the people in Texas are great people too. So I can't knock them. They're
Yeah.
great people.
Hell yeah,
Oh,
bro. Bro, seriously, Austin, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the podcast, dude. You're the first guest we've had, and this is going to be fun, man. I hope you enjoyed your time on here.
Oh, definitely, Jay. And I really appreciate you having me on first. I mean, it doesn't matter that I'm first on, but I think it does mean, a lot in our friendship, I think. And we've known each other for so long. I felt like it was cool, and we clicked really, and we hit it off easily, man. I can't wait for the next guest to get on. We're not spoiling that, right?
We're not going to spoil it.
All right, perfect. But yeah,
But
it was
hey,
awesome.
where can they
Thank you.
find you out on Instagram?
My Instagram is at NorCal_graphs. Follow me on there. I usually follow a lot of people back, so I'm not like those accounts that have maybe 5 followers. They're following 5 people. I try to keep myself engaged with all my new followers. If I like your stuff, I'll follow you. Even if I don't, and I see that you're a younger collector, I'll follow you. And I just try to be just a genuine person. If you guys always have questions, whatever, I don't know all the answers, but I'll try to answer as many questions you guys have, and yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much. And, look for us to get on here for episode 2, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks, guys, for joining the Collector Podcast by Mojo Sports. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.